ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
It is Tuesday, November 5th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour is going to be 304-396-TALK. 304-396-8255. Coming up today on the program, we're going to hear from Marshall football coach Charles Huff. Weekly presser was earlier today, so we're going to listen to what he had to say. We've got Southern Miss coming up this week as the opponent. Also, we're going to give you a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to see Marshall play Toledo on Saturday. And again, that text line, just one more time, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Big story of the day from last night has to be Marshall getting the win, defeating Davis and Elkins 90-57 in the Cam Henderson Center to start the season off with a win for new head coach Cornelius Jackson. Last night after the game, he praised his team's efforts, but he did note that the team needed to improve shooting, and he also emphasized the importance of setting the tone in the Henderson Center. And he was asked about matching the opponent's energy, and his attitude is that the opponent has to match the Thundering Herd's energy.
I thought we played hard. I thought we played hard. I would like to see us shoot the ball better. But those guys were pretty physical. I thought we matched their physicality. We've been talking since the Pikeville game. When people, especially when they come in the Henderson Center, we want to set the tone. We don't want to match anyone's energy. They should be matching us. So I thought we did a good job of that tonight.
Wyatt Fricks led the team with a double-double, scoring 15 points. He had 11 rebounds. Obina Anachili Killen had a game-high 18 points. Nate Martin had 15, and Ryan Nutter finished with 11. And his debut, Michael Dawson had 5 assists and 8 points. The Herd did start strong, scored 8 points in their first 8 possessions. Anachili Killen leading the way with 4 points, followed by Dawson and Martin, and a pair of free throws from Anachili Killen extended Marshall's lead to 13 points. At one point, he was 25-12. And then Obina continued his scoring. He made 2 free throws to end the first half, and it was a 37-24 advantage. Now, the Herd did start strong in the second half, had a 9-0 run, extended the lead to 46-24. Creighton Thienemann's threes down that stretch gave Marshall a 35-point advantage in the final minutes, and it was the Herd's largest lead. Marshall shot 47.1% from the field and out-rebounded Davis and Elkins 45-35, including 17-13 on the offensive glass. Here's Coach Jackson talking about how this team performed, and there's a lot, I think, positive to take away from this game, but one thing is certain with this team. I don't think this is the finished product by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, we put them on the line a lot in the first half. I think they had 16 free throws at halftime, and we were, I believe, 2 for 16 from 3. So that's the game in the first half.
So if there's one area in which I think Marshall would like to see improvement, and Coach talked about it last night, is just you got to shoot better. That was the question. Hey, is there anything you want to work on, anything you want to see improve after the game and heading into Saturday? He talked about the three-point shot, and I think that's the obvious takeaway from this game.
Make some threes. I want to see us make some threes. It's funny. We didn't shoot the ball well the last 2 days in practice. And I was hoping that would change today, right? I think yesterday in practice, we 3 for 16. So I want us to shoot the ball better. I thought, we're trying to do the right things. We're sharing the ball. We're playing with physicality. We're trying to do the right things defensively, and the shots will fall. I'm confident in these guys. We shoot a lot. We shoot a lot in practice. We have shooting groups, so they shoot a lot. Free throws, we were 78%. And we shoot a lot of free throws. So we'll continue to grind. We'll continue to stay in the gym, and hopefully by Saturday we'll be shooting the ball a little better.
Cornelius Jackson getting the win, his first win as the head coach of the Thundering Herd. Marshall in action on Saturday. taking on Toledo. We've got it for you. We'll be on the air from Giovanni's 20th Street. We go on the air for football, and then we'll lead into that, and then we go on the air for basketball, and then we'll have that right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So basketball action on Saturday. Coach's show coming up tonight. A little different this year. It's going to be Cornelius Jackson and Julie Folks. It's Inside Marshall Basketball. That's coming up tonight. Special time, 6 o'clock. We'll have it for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And speaking of the women, debut got spoiled yesterday. It was the MAC Sunbelt Challenge, and Madison Calhoun's potential game-tying three waved off due to a traveling call. And so it was a 71-68 loss. Hurd losing to Toledo in the MAC Sunbelt Challenge. Marshall outscored Toledo 22-8 in the first quarter. CeCe Mays had 11 points. This game pretty much was statistically even. Pretty much two teams that really mirrored each other. And so Marshall loses in a close one. Hurd will host Northern Kentucky on Sunday. And, of course, you can hear more about the women's program along with the men's every week. As I just mentioned, the Coach's Show coming up tonight. Special time, 6 o'clock. We got a soccer game or something. I think there's an election or something going on as well. There's a couple things happening tonight. So we got a busy night ahead. So Coach's Show coming up 6 o'clock right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And we're going to give you a chance to win tickets to go see the Herd take on Toledo. It's coming up on Saturday. We've got you covered. You can, of course, listen to the game on the radio, but if you can go, that's even better. So we'll give you a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets. The text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And as I mentioned, we've got soccer coming up a little bit later on this evening. Marshall taking on West Virginia. It's going to be for the Sun Belt Conference regular season championship and the top seed for the tournament. Marshall is on a 13-game unbeaten streak, but there have been a few ties. I think I would have been happier with wins over some of the ties. So right now, Marshall is second in the Sun Belt standings at 16 points. If Marshall wins, Marshall will be the champion. If West Virginia wins, obviously West Virginia will be the champion. Going to be a crazy night in downtown Huntington, and of course, the soccer match is going to be one of the biggest matches of the year in college soccer, not just in Sunbelt soccer, but college soccer. So the Mountain State Derby tonight, and kickoff is set for 7:15. So one of the voices that you hear, if you ever watch the broadcast on ESPN Plus, is Bobby Iddings, and he's going to join us about 5:30. He's going to tell us more about this match, what we need to know about the two teams. That's coming up tonight later on. So busy night, but when we continue, we're going to hear from Marshall football coach Charles Huff, get his thoughts as Marshall getting set for the road and Southern Miss. We'll get his thoughts. We'll hear from you. All of that when we continue on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
And they're off. Thoroughbred Express Wash is racing ahead with the brand new Secretariat Wash featuring Graphene X. This high-performance wash goes the distance, outlasting standard ceramic coatings with superior protection and unmatched hydrophobicity. Don't let your vehicle fall behind. Upgrade today at any of our West Virginia and tri-state locations. Experience the Secretariat Wash and let your car shine like a true champion. Thoroughbred Express Wash, where every wash is a winner. Stop by or call today. See us online at thoroughbredexpress.com.
Now is the time to add on a new bathroom or remodel your old one with the latest up-to-date bathroom fixtures from Mutual Wholesalers, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Come in today to Mutual Wholesalers' beautiful showroom and see how your new bathroom will look. Check out Acre by Max. Have a new bathroom this year. Mutual Wholesalers, locally owned and operated, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Call 304-525-9118.
You've cut back on everything and you're still coming up short at the end of the month. Give your local State Farm agent a call for a free discount double check. They'll show you how something as simple as combining car and home policies can save you hundreds of dollars a year. Being there to help keep more of your money is why your local State Farm agent is here. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In Huntington, John Garden, 304-525-1116. And in Barbersville, Marcia Slater, 304-736-6100.
Giovanni's Pizza. Fresh, hot, and tasty. Have it delivered right to your door. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Hey, it's Lex and Terry, K&B Pest Control, locally owned and operated in Huntington, West Virginia, serving the tri-state.
Man, these guys are great. They do residential and commercial, indoor, outdoor, free estimates. These guys are the best, I'm telling you.
This is when the critters come out. High customer ratings, satisfaction guaranteed, large fleet, crew, meaning same-day appointments, and quick service.
All you got to do is pick up your phone and call Patrick, the owner. Okay, that's what you got to do. Or Becca. They're standing by to take care of you guys. It's KNBPestControl.com online, and give them a call, man. They got a great Facebook page. Go ahead and like it. They got a phone number. We'll give you that. Why not? It's free. 304-523-4281.
Or go to KNBPestControl.com. They will tell you what everything looks like, what you're looking for, if you're getting a pest problem, and get on top of it. They're the best. Make sure you call Patrick once again, who is very passionate about his pest control, or Becca. KNB Pest Control. They'll kill for your business.
Trust the guys with over 40 years of experience at K&B Pest Control.
Here's another Kindred Community Chatter brought to you in part by TikTok Tire, 3rd Avenue across from the Jones C. Edwards Stadium. The Marshall University Volunteers in Therapy Pro Bono Clinic, located on the Marshall campus, provide free physical therapy to those that don't have insurance or have exhausted their PT benefits. All sessions are provided by doctoral students with supervision by a licensed physical therapist. They're open 2 afternoons a week. Phone 304-696-2399 to set up an appointment.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
Still to come, we're going to hear from Marshall play-by-play announcer Bobby Iddings. We got a big one tonight in Huntington. Sunbelt titles on the line, Mountain State Derby, as well as Marshall playing host to West Virginia. That's coming up tonight, 7:15. Bobby's going to tell us more about it about 5:30. Till then, we'll get your text in tonight, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I don't know if you got the answer to this earlier, but I got a text earlier. Is the call-in show tonight for her basketball? Yes, it is, again, 6 o'clock tonight, different time. For the rest of the year, it's going to be 7 o'clock, and it's a different format this year. It's going to be Coach Jackson and Coach Fulks inside Marshall basketball. It's a different format featuring both men's and women's basketball, so that's coming up tonight. And we'll have that for you right after 6 o'clock in the news. We'll have that for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Football is a few weeks away from being into bowl season. We got 4 more to go. So a few more opportunities to talk to the head coach, Charles Huff. And earlier today during his press event, we had a chance to talk to him about a few things. And he discussed the upcoming challenge, described it as a challenge against Southern Miss. And I wasn't expecting him to describe them any different way. I know they have a terrible record. They're 1-7. So 1-7 team. Coach Huff comes in, talks about them, very positive about what they can do, what they're about. And he said that this team on film does not match their 1-7 record.
Obviously, another challenge this weekend against a really good Southern Miss team. Coach Stringer and his staff. You talk about the competitiveness in this league. When you watch the film, the records and the film don't match. Obviously, there's reasons. Obviously, there's missed opportunities. But when you look at the talent on their team in spots, they are an extremely talented football team. They play really hard on defense. They've got some guys with some really good athletic ability and power. I think their D-line is really disruptive. Their backers play downhill and physical. They got really good team speed. Their quarterback that they're playing right now does a really good job of creating with his feet. They've got some receivers who can run. So it's going to be a challenge. Obviously, at their place coming off a bye week, getting a chance to heal up and getting a chance to make some corrections, especially with the new staff or kind of the new leadership, is going to be a challenge. Going to have to be able to adjust for whatever they've made adjustments with, and then go execute really well on the road.
Hurts has some difficulty on the road, so that's going to be very important. Can you adjust on the road? Can you figure out what they've improved and how you can attack it? So there will be some difficulty. I agree with that statement. He did emphasize the difficulty. He was asked about, you're playing a team, has nothing to lose. They can't go to a bowl game, so house money is the way it was described. This is a team that is probably loose. I'm not saying they're playing just for fun, but they're probably playing for fun, playing for pride. They're playing everything at this point forward is if they can win, that's going to be great. And probably for a lot of guys, this is their last opportunity. For some of the players, this will be an opportunity to move it forward, whatever those situations may be. But you're playing a team that, you know what, they got nothing to lose. Nothing to lose whatsoever. So usually those teams play loose, right? They play carefree. They play with everything they've got. They've got nothing to lose here. They don't have the pressure of losing a conference championship or an opportunity there. That's just the reality of it. And so Coach, of course, talked about the difficulty when he was asked about that of playing a team with nothing to lose.
I think, 18 to 22-year-olds are probably the most resilient group of Americans there are. Everybody playing football loves to play the game. You don't do all the hard work. You don't do all the lifting, all the running, all the sacrificing, not to go out and compete. Obviously, there are tangible things that are tied to records and tied to, flows of the season. But on Saturday when that ball kicks off, it's a bunch of kids that were 5 and 6 years old that played in the backyard until the sun went down. And that's really what you have to be prepared for. You can't really say because of their record they're going to do this or that, or because they have nothing to play for they're going to play at a different level. When that ball kicks off, it's a bunch of kids that love to compete. And I think that's the way you got to approach it. Same thing with coaches, right? Coaches that are in this profession love competition. It doesn't matter what your record are. I get it. That's our job. That's how we're evaluated. But on Saturday afternoon, no one is sitting there saying I'm making this call or I'm making this play or I'm not making this play because of my record. It's an opportunity to go out and compete, an opportunity to create value for themselves. So we got to prepare for that, if that makes sense. I think every team takes the field trying to win. And whatever you need to do in those scenarios to do that, I think that's the main goal. So we just got to be prepared for a really tough physical football game. I think that's the biggest thing that we have to make sure we understand on Saturday.
Another question Coach talked about after he was asked was the need for more focus. A lot of things have been said and made of the fact that the Herd has been pretty woeful on the road record-wise. And so is there a need to have more focus? Do you have to put a little bit more into how you prepare for the road? And so Coach highlighted that need for more focus. And, that's considering the recent lack of success in road games.
I think the extra focus comes from what we have to gain. That's how we've tried to approach it. We got an opportunity to go on the road, and we got 4 guaranteed left. So let's not lose an opportunity because we weren't focused, whether we're home or away. We try to make sure that it's focused on us. We got to go out and we got to execute. We got to go out and we got to tackle. We got to go out and we got to catch the ball and take care of the ball. If you start putting it on the opponent, then you kind of go in ebbs and flows. Hey, we're playing the Jets this week, so we should play good. Hey, we're playing Huntington High School, so we shouldn't get it. So we try to put it on us, and I think our intentionality and our focus is the key, right? We've got a pretty mature team, not necessarily by age, but about the process. Now, when you start getting to the back end of your season, you got to get really intentional about your focus, really intentional about who the players are that they're trying to get the ball to. What are their tendencies? You got 8 games of film now. So tendencies should really jump out. Teams do what they do well.
Teams do what they do well. And so even though you get a coaching change, I'm sure nothing truly fundamentally has changed about the Thundering Herd. One thing that Coach did acknowledge is the focus is there. But he did emphasize later on the importance of having what he called intentional focus.
We went back and looked at last game, and there were a lot of scenarios in the game where we just didn't have intentional focus. We had focus, but we didn't have intentional focus, and how just having intentional focus eliminates or creates 2 or 3 other positive situations for you, and when you start to look at the games that way, you really start to become opportunistic. You really start to make plays consistently. We've been able to execute in spurts, but when you really start to come down to it and you got 4 guaranteed left, you really got to start to, okay, what is the down and distance? What are their tendencies? Where are we at on the field? What have they done on this area of the field? Okay, why are we calling this play? What is coach trying to get done? We called it in practice, and we talked about calling it into this look. Okay, do I have that look? Hey, I'm on special teams. What blocking angles do I have to have? What leverage do I have to have? All those things got to start coming into your mind rather than, okay, I'm playing the call. And when you really start to narrow it down, you can become a lot more intentionally focused on executing and doing your job. And that's when you start to see, you kind of look across the country, teams start to really roll in the back end of the season. I think that's what starts to happen.
Coach Huff, speaking with the media earlier today. We'll have more from him throughout the rest of this week. Saturday, Marshall on the road taking on Southern Miss. Radio is going to be on 93.7 The Dog. We've got basketball on Saturday, and I'm giving you a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to go see the Herd take on Toledo. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Let's make it fun today. We're going to talk soccer in a few minutes, but we'll make time for the text line. Let's make it fun today. Marshall, Toledo on Saturday. Who's going to score the first basket for the Thundering Herd? Who's going to get the first score? Text that in now. Your guess, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Who gets the first basket for the Thundering Herd on Saturday? It's our Text to Win contest. 4-pack of tickets to go see the Herd take on Toledo on the line. When we continue, we talk soccer. Bobby Iddings joins us. Marshall taking on West Virginia. Mountain State Derby going on tonight. We'll have Bobby on the other side of the break here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hey, Tri-State, there is a place to shop at. The Huntington's Peddlers Mall is now open in the historic Central City District in Huntington. Over 200 vendors specializing in vintage antiques, home decor, furniture, collectibles, new mattresses, and everything in between. Peddlers Mall, located 800 14th Street West in Huntington. It's the place to go. Open 7 days a week. Visit anytime. Check out the website, peddlersmall.com, for more information. It's the Tri-State place to shop, Huntington's Peddlers Mall.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union has been serving the Huntington community for 70 years and is proud to announce our newest location in Lavalette is now open. Wayne County residents, you now have access to a modern banking facility, a full range of services, advanced technology, expert financial advice, and even a smart coffee kiosk cafe. Learn more about Metro Community Federal Credit Union online at metrocommunityfcu.com or visit us today on 5th Street Road.
Equal housing lender, member NCUA. If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-281-1240. That's 800-281-1240. 800-281-1240.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to our Tuesday edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Don't forget, coming up tonight, Inside Marshall Basketball hits the airwaves. Special time, 6:05 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Also on 93.7 The Dog. It's a special time because coming up tonight, we've got, I don't know if you've heard, there's something going on tonight. To explain a little bit more what that might be is Bobby Iddings. He does all of the Marshall soccer broadcasts for ESPN Plus. And Bob, is there a soccer match tonight? Is there something important going on in Huntington? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it caught a couple of people's attention when the schedule came out at the beginning of the year. And Chris Grassi hasn't wanted to talk about it, but I think the last couple of days it was inevitable. You had to talk about it. You had to be ready. It's another top 10 clash between two teams that really it's important for postseason seeding more than anything right now, Paul.
Does Chris Grassi want to talk about anything? The first question I have to ask.
Well, I mean, I think you get to the point with Chris. I think I've kind of figured out a couple different ways, different ways to communicate with Chris and make sure that, if you keep a soccer mindset and you keep the mind on the games and you really kind of focus on kind of the atmosphere and the attitude of his teams. And Chris Grassi, he's a really, really fun to talk to and an incredible soccer mind. Same thing for Dan Stratford, right? My props go out to Coach Stratford from West Virginia as well. I got him on Sunday, and I didn't play. Usually I try and keep coaches for about 20 minutes, and I talked to Dan Stratford for 45 minutes on Sunday, and I felt horrible for taking his time, but he was like, no, it's great. He's like, this is soccer. This is I want to publicize the sport. So for both coaches, I think they really understand kind of the impact they have across the sport in the Mountain State.
So for those who don't know, maybe are distracted by other things, number 8, Marshall playing host to number 10, West Virginia tonight. It is not only for the Sun Belt title, it is is also for the more important title, Mountain State Derby winner. This is a big one. The Thundering Herd is unbeaten in 13 games, but there's been some difficulty with that streak because they've been tying a lot lately. Unfortunately, that doesn't leave a good feeling with a lot of Herd fans. Ease everyone's mind tonight if you can.
Well, I think one thing I have to correct you on, right, is Marshall and West Virginia both have drawn one match this year, right? Marshall drawing against Xavier earlier this season, West Virginia drawing on the road at Dayton. So both of those teams go to the state of Ohio, and that's where they do fall. Even they have their first games that they lose on the season, right? But I think these are two teams that they only have. There's only 5 college soccer teams right now that only have one loss. Everyone else has one or more. There are no teams left with 0 loss. So these are two of the best teams across college soccer. They come into tonight. The biggest thing, the most important thing for both sides, you've got to score 2 goals. We got to really looking at some stats today. Under Dan Stratford, if West Virginia scores 2+ goals, they're 39, 3, and 6 of the Mountaineers. But on the other side, possibly just as impressive. That's under 5 years for Coach Stratford. On the Marshall side, for Marshall, Thundering Herd, while under the tutelage of Chris Grassi, so 8 seasons now, 69, 5, and 6 when scoring 2+ goals. Again, that is 80 games, 69, 5, and 6 when scoring 2+ goals for Marshall. So that's the key. You got two teams that really have 2 All-Americans probably that are going to be out on the pitch tonight, Sergio Ors Navarro, Lineker Rodriguez dos Santos. It's going to come down to the goalkeeping matchup across the board. And I think if you look at that goalkeeping matchup, potentially the advantage does go to Marshall. Mark Bonaire is the goalkeeper for West Virginia. He came into this season. He only had 3 starts prior to this year, and that all came in 2022. Didn't get to play much last year. He has started 15 matches this year for the Mountaineers. But the other side for Marshall, Alexa Janich, those two are going to be kind of our players to watch, depending on who Marshall does go with in goal tonight, whether it's Janich or Dan Rose. If you look at kind of the way Marshall's done things, they have rotated quite often. Janich started the previous 3 games to the draw a couple days ago against Kentucky. Who is it? Is it Janich or Rose? Janich or Rose probably have a little bit more experience. Bonaire necessarily doesn't have that experience. That may be what ultimately decides this game tonight in terms of who wins. This is the goalkeeping battle because these two offenses are so high-powered. You look at the 2 matches last year, 5-2 in Morgantown, 3-2 here in Huntington. Which keeper, which back line can be successful? That's going to be the deciding point of this entire match tonight.
Bobby Iddings is with us. He's going to have the call tonight on ESPN Plus for those of you who can't go because, well, this is a sellout tonight. This is always a sellout. I don't even know why we were surprised. So it was record time, I think, this thing sold out.
Yeah, 15 minutes, give or take a couple minutes on either side.
Yeah.
I think. And I asked Dan Stratford, I said, hey, is there any atmosphere that you can think of that rivals the atmosphere of when you take on Marshall? And he said, Pitt's come close a couple times. It's obviously the rivalry that precedes itself there across all sports in Morgantown. He said, but no, he said, look, this is a situation where he said, look, Chris and I are probably some of the best of friends that you will find in college soccer. But he said, let's be frank, these two teams, just as much as Chris and I like each other and enjoy each other's company, these two teams don't like each other, right? We'll make a joke at some point during the broadcast tonight. The discussion out on the field is not going to be about which burritos are better, Black Bear Burritos in Morgantown, or is it Black Sheep in Huntington? That's not going to be the discussion on the pitch. It's going to be very, very centric to kind of, I don't like you, you don't like me, I want to beat you on the pitch tonight. And again, the bigger picture for all of this is the fact that you've got West Virginia, who's 22nd in RPI coming in tonight. You got Marshall on the other side, who's 16th in RPI. Both of those teams want to get into the top 16. They want to host if they make the NCAA tournament, when they make the NCAA tournament. So this game is huge for both sides. And I read something earlier, will West Virginia draw? Will they just be content with a draw? Because then that still rewards the Mountaineers that Sun Belt Conference regular season championship. And I just can't see that. The Mountaineers want to get that seeding pushed a little bit higher into that top 16. I don't think either one of these teams are going to be content with a draw this evening.
Before I ask you the next question, that's a little bit more of a serious note, which is the better burrito, Morgantown or Huntington? What do you think?
I plead the fifth at this point. The older you get, the more burritos are not friendly. So I'll plead the fifth on that one.
All burritos are good except when they're not, I think is probably the proper answer.
Fair enough.
Bobby Iddings joins us. So do we see a tight game tonight, low scoring? Do we see all-out war on the nets? Because Marshall needs to be a little bit more aggressive, as I alluded to earlier. Yeah, they've got their 13-game unbeaten streak, and yes, they do have a blemish on the record. But so many times they've ended in a draw with teams. Marshall could have pushed this point lead out a little further And we might not even have to worry about this match tonight if Marshall could have taken care of a few more matches or at least got more points.
Yeah, and I think the Mountaineers, right, have the same exact argument, right? Both teams with 5 draws on the year. I think you're going to see a goal with, if I had to guess, if you look at it, 3+ goals across the board for everybody. I think looking back at the matches that have happened since James Stratford took over at West Virginia, this is a game that typically is not usually 1-0. It's not usually 1-1. This is a match. You look back to last season in Morgantown, that 5-2 result. Marshall actually led 1-0 in that match last season, had a chance right before the half in Morgantown to tie it up. Frederick Jurgensen, who you'll see tonight for the Mountaineers, one of the better defenders on that back line for West Virginia, stopped a Joe Alberto goal up in Morgantown. So there's going to be so many chances. It's going to be a matter of which team can capitalize on those chances, and that's one big thing. Talking with coaches as I have throughout the year, it's pretty much verbatim to the coaches, hey, what's it going to take tonight to win? What's it going to take? What's it going to take? All the coaches pretty much say, hey, who's going to be brave? Who's going to take chances? Who's going to capitalize on those chances? You'll see that tonight. There is too much experience from both sides, and there's too much just offensive firepower across these two teams to not see multiple goals. I would be shocked if we saw a 1-1, 1-0 type of game. I think you're more than likely going to see something very similar to what we saw in the Sun Belt Conference Championship game last year, a 3-2 mark, something to that extent tonight.
Coming up tonight, it's going to be on ESPN Plus for those of you that did not score a ticket, and I've been watching social media a little bit today, and there are people still trying to score tickets on social media, so this should be an interesting one as far as the crowd is concerned. Before we went on air, you said there was a helicopter flying over the stadium. Do we have dignitaries landing by helicopter? What's the situation?
I'm not sure. It did land in a parking lot a couple blocks down, I think, at some point. So not sure what the situation is there. But, yeah, the Marshall helicopter, the Marshall-branded helicopter was kind of circling the pitch a couple minutes ago. But, no, nothing, no landing on the pitch thus far. You mentioned kind of the limited tickets. I saw tailgating started as early as 1 o'clock today for this match. So that in its own right is impressive. A 6-hour tailgate is a feat to be seen.
This is Huntington. There's always an excuse to tailgate. People will take advantage of it. This.
Yeah, for sure. Not just the cars either, right?
Right, exactly. No, no, absolutely not. No. If you and I said that we were going to have a dodgeball match and there was a tailgate before, people would show up to the tailgate.
Yeah, and that just kind of screams this atmosphere. Just talking with a couple people who were actually tailgating earlier today. Just Alexander Vukovic walked by at around 1:30, 2 o'clock today and looked over the tailgate and said, already? Question mark? Just an incredible atmosphere. This is what you want to see. And again, you look back and you rewind back to 2016, the last Bob Gray season, Bob Gray, who was incredibly successful as the head coach at Marshall. But then you look what Chris Grassi has brought to the table here. Dave Stratford on the West Virginia side after he replaced Marlon LeBlanc. Just the atmosphere that these two have created in both Morgantown and Huntington is just incredible for college soccer. And you want to see this continue to grow and continue to development because it's so much fun when that schedule comes out. What's the first game everybody looks at? They look at that last game of the season. They look at that game against West Virginia. They know how big of a match that's going to be. And kudos to the schedule makers this year from the Sun Belt because you had the teams that were 1-2 preseason. And when did they match up? Last regular season game of the year with the conference championship on the line. And that's just cool. For lack of a better term, that's just cool.
My guest, Bobby Iddings, joining us. He is going to have the call tonight, ESPN Plus, for those of you that cannot make the match. And, of course, after the match, go back. If you are at the game, go listen to the post game. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interesting things from Chris Grassi. If Marshall wins, I'm sure there's going to be a huge celebration tonight in Huntington on the pitch. So I'm anticipating a big one here for you. This is probably going to be rank this one. Just ahead of time. Where do you think this one might end up? If you were anticipating how this game goes, where would you rank this?
I think it's really hard to rank it above last year's two games, right? The fact that both those teams were top 5 and just this incredible side. And look, they're still top 10, 8 and 10, so it's hard to even say this is third. But you look at those two matches last year, just the offensive firepower, the MLS draft picks are out on the pitch. We could still see what happens tonight. The fact that it's a little bit of revisionist history, the fact that West Virginia goes on to play in the College Cup, Marshall drops the match to Stanford, of course, in the Sweet 16. I think if anything, you're going to say, hey, it's behind those. But we'll see, right? That's the beauty of the game of soccer, is you've got to play a full 90 minutes. We've got to see what happens now over these 90 to see what really happens between these two sides. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a ton of energy just stepping outside and just sitting in the bleachers as I am right now. The energy's already there. You can feel it. West Virginia's bus pulling up now. I'm sure the Marshall faithful will greet them, we'll say peacefully. But at the same time, right, this is a match that people know is going to be highly competitive. It is going to be physical. Cards will be flying inevitably. You had cards on benches last year. You had cards on players. You've had pushing. You've had shoving. You go back to all the players that have played for Marshall, the Pedro Dolabellas, the Jameer Roberts, those type guys too that have been really instrumental in these matches. We'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. I hope it reaches that level of a top 5 matchup. And then I hope, again, to be completely honest, I hope we see this match again. I hope just for the selfish reasoning of being a soccer fan and wanting to see college soccer, I want to see these two teams play again in the Sun Belt Championship game because it's just so fun. Not many conferences, maybe our neighbors to the west in Kentucky can say that it's just as fun when Kentucky and Louisville get together, but I don't think many people can say it is super fun and super competitive and just a tremendous atmosphere when the two in-state schools get together.
Bobby Iddings joining us, ESPN Plus tonight, 7:15. You can watch the match there for those of you unfortunate enough not to have tickets, and there's a lot of you. This thing sold out quickly. Have fun, man. This is going to be a blast tonight. This doesn't come around, but maybe we've been lucky. It comes around every year, but there have been years where you don't get so lucky. We've been blessed so far, so this is going to be fun tonight.
Let's do it, man. I'm all ready for it.
All right. We'll be watching tonight. Thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Paul. Have a great evening.
That is Bobby Iddings. Again, ESPN Plus for those of you that aren't at the pitch tonight. And, of course, if you are listening to the show, you're either on your way down now or you've missed the tailgate, so you're trying to get a parking spot. Quick timeout. We continue on our text question of the day. Who's going to score a first basket on Saturday for the Thundering Herd? We're giving you a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to go see the Herd take on Toledo. Text line when we continue on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hi, I'm Delegate Sean Hornbuckle, and I've always been appreciative of your support. It's an honor to serve you at the legislature, and I'm asking for your vote again. I will continue to fight for our community and partner with people at home to keep us moving forward. You can vote early starting October 23rd through November 2nd at Cabell County Courthouse or at Drinko Library at Marshall University. Election Day is Tuesday, November 5th, and I'd be grateful to earn your vote again. Delegate Sean Hornbuckle.
Paid for by Hornbuckle for House.
Hey Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. It's that time of year again, football season. Frank's has you covered from Marshall, WVU, the rest of college football to the NFL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials they have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
At Poca Valley Bank, a handshake can still mean the start of a great relationship. We've been greeting customers with a handshake since 1908. Why settle for less? If you're purchasing your first home or planning for your future, Poca Valley Bank is here to support you with personalized service and local expertise. They are your trusted advisors. Why settle for less when you can experience banking with a team that truly cares? Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Giovanni's has great Italian dishes. Spaghetti with meat sauce, lasagna, ravioli, manicotti, all dinners served with hot garlic bread or Italian rolls. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Thornhill Auto Group, your total automotive dealer offering Buick, Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Ford, GM, Jeep, Lincoln, Mitsubishi, and Ram product lines. Community Trust Bank, located beside Pullman Square on 3rd Avenue. Pollock's Jewelers, providing professional service with a personal touch. Visit Pollock's Jewelers at 913 Winchester Avenue in Ashland.
Robinhood is introducing forecast contracts so you can trade the presidential election. Through Robinhood, you can now trade financial derivatives contracts on who will win the U.S. presidential presidential election, Harris or Trump, and watch as contract prices react to real-time market sentiment. Each contract you own will pay $1 on January 8th, 2025, if that candidate is confirmed as the next U.S. president by Congress. Learn more about the presidential election contracts on Robinhood at www.robinhood.com/election. The risk of loss in trading commodity interest can be substantial. You should therefore carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Commodity interest trading is not appropriate for everyone. Display prices are based on real-time market sentiment. This event contract is offered by Robinhood Derivatives, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Exchange and regulatory fees apply. This station does not recommend any specific investment.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. It's that time of year again, football season. Frank's has you covered from Marshall, WVU, the rest of college football to the NFL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials they have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Open text line, rest of the way, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Thanks for sticking with me today on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We've had a long couple of days, haven't we? And it's still going to continue. Don't forget, coming up tonight after the show, we're going to switch into basketball mode as Inside Marshall Basketball hits the airwaves. Special time, 6 o'clock tonight as the Herd getting set for soccer tonight at the pitch, taking on West Virginia. That's coming up 7:15. It's going to be the kick at Hoops Family Field. So looking forward to that one. So early night, and it's also election night. I don't know if anyone knew that. So I hope that you were able to vote today. And I know that's been made a big deal as of late from Coach Huff, talking about that with his players and the need to add as many voices as possible. So I hope that you had an opportunity, either the early voting or, of course, the polls still open. So if you're heading off work and heading to the polls, get in line. You know, if you're in line before the polls close, they've got to let you in. So that's the acknowledgement of Election Day, and we're going to go sports the rest of the way here. Let's get to the text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter says, Paul, listen to Coach Huff, the Wizard. If players could dissect and apply all his wisdom, we would be undefeated. Football surely isn't that complex. I appreciate the text. Thank you. Also, texter says, Paul, Nutter will score the first basket for the upcoming game. All right, and we're going to give you a chance to win tickets to the game on Saturday. 4-pack. So if you've got 3 others, you've got family, you got friends, you got something, we got you covered. So at the end of the show, we'll text our winner. And if you don't win tonight, we got a pretty good one tomorrow as well. So don't feel like that you've missed your opportunity. We're going to take care of you the rest of the week. I've got tickets all this week for basketball on Saturday. And don't forget, we got basketball on Monday as well. So we got a busy weekend for the Thundering Herd, starting tonight with Marshall and West Virginia Mountain State Derby. That is coming up tonight. ESPN Plus, 7:15 there. Texture says, Paul, go Herd, beat those ears. West Virginia, Marshall on election night. Can't wait. You think they would have maybe wanted to schedule this on a Wednesday. You look at the calendar, you go, okay, let's schedule this one. We know it's going to be a big one. Marshall, West Virginia. Let's November 5th. Why does that date stand out? First Tuesday, November. Election year, is that a thing? I don't know if this was smart on the league's part or this was a fumble on the league's part, to be quite honest. This game is going to get buried. How much local news coverage are you going to see tonight on the news stations? You're not going to see that. They're not. You think they're going to have a sports cast tonight on WSAZ or WCHS or also on, I don't know, Fox 11, Channel 13? You're going to see a local sports cast tonight? Probably not. How much is this going to get play across the state of West Virginia? Probably not, because if you're watching it, you're there. It's one thing, but it's not going to get much play on the highlights tonight. I don't know how important is that anyway. I'm not trying to be mean, but how important is your late local news to you these days when it comes to sports? That's a question for another time, I think. But this game may have been a huge deal a following night, maybe more so, because a lot of people's attention is going to be focused on election coverage, obviously. For those of you that are listening, obviously, I know where your attention is going to be. You're going to be listening to the Coach's Show coming up next, and you're probably going to be, if you're not there, you're going to be watching the game between Marshall and West Virginia on ESPN Plus. So I know where your focus is going to be, but I think if you want to make these things big, you feature them, you make a big deal out of it, not just for football, but for all your sports, and especially with soccer being a signature sport these days in the Sun Belt. I think I would have avoided election night for this game. Maybe you have this on a Wednesday, have it stand out a little bit more. You know it's going to be a big deal. I know ESPN Plus is where it's going to be, but still, I would make this a big deal. And maybe you talk to ESPN. It's like, hey, what are you doing on ESPNU on a Wednesday? What are you doing there? What do you got on the U? You could put it on ESPN Plus and put it on ESPNU. You could do something like that and try to feature some of these bigger matchups. And look, if I can see college hockey on the U, and I love college hockey, I can see college soccer Sun Belt style on the U. And I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everyone. Don't forget, text line all this week. We're going to give you a chance to win tickets to go see the Herd in action on the basketball court all season long, all the home games. I'll have tickets. So keep texting and keep tuning in. Don't forget, if you miss anything tonight, you can always go back. Podcasts available, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, we do stream the show live every day. Just head to our website, WRVC.com. You can download the app on your phone or just listen right there. Thanks for tuning in. I want to thank my guest tonight, Bobby Iddings. He'll have the call of Marshall and West Virginia, the Mountain State Derby on ESPN Plus. I appreciate his insights. Back tomorrow, here, same time, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.